Nice to be back, and we're here for another big slate. We've got the 5-game NBA or the 3-game NFLer. It's a fun one. There's a lot of big tournaments out there, and none more important than the money added tournament that we have. Sheets. You want to talk a little bit about that real quick for people who end up joining late and end up seeing from the beginning, because I think what you're offering here is pretty awesome, and I think that it's something that I'm not sure people have really caught on to how good of a deal this is. So it is filling up a little bit more and more, but there is room to get in. So jump on in with this tournament. And Sheets, why don't you talk about that for a minute?
I don't know. I'm always thinking of new things to do, and we kept on having this. I kept on coming up with this idea of having a subscriber only tournament, and then I wanted to do something where I kind of added money to it, and I couldn't figure out the best way to do it. So I was gonna give like periodic free rolls like throughout the month or something like that, saying, okay, if I do well in this, I'll add this. If I do well in this, I'll add this. That felt really bad. There was the first time we were doing it, I was playing this pick six on, and I was trying to figure out a way to give everybody a free roll and I just kind of like lost track on the best way to do it. So I said, screw it, I'll just give the free roll. I ended up cashing in it for like 15,000 or something like that. So I figured I would just use that at least to start off with. And throughout the course of the next couple of months, I want to do like a more logical kind of like added money thing to reward the actual subscribers for being in there. So, and we've been running these kind of like $5 tournaments throughout the week just for fun, and for pride and for bragging rights and stuff like that. And so this is like the first one we're going to do where we add money to it. So I decided through an unscientific calculation that we were going to add 24 to the to the prize pool. And for those who've been following along, Bobby and my podcast throughout the years, you will know why. Bobby's a big Kobe guy. Whenever I buy some of Bobby on State Kings, I always go for $24.24 worth. So that's we came up with that. And so listen. I don't want to make a big deal of this. I don't know. I'm sure there still be issues and questions like, what if this? What if I did this? What if this? Listen, I can't breathe from all that right now. We'll get more organized about it. But for now, for this one, if you win and you're a subscriber and that's it, I'll give you $2,424 free dollars, and it'll be off the books. I'll PayPal it to you for now, or whatever. We'll be more organized in the future. One of the things I was thinking of doing, Bobby, for like weekly ones or monthly ones to deal with our other partnerships, is instead of like giving out like cash, like 2,500 or something like that, or however much it'd be 1,000, maybe I like stake them in like a 555 or something like that.
Something like that is a cool
idea. Yeah, I'll take like 50% of it or something like that. So
I think that's a cool way.
But and this way we could all kind of root for it, and we could maybe do that along with State Kings or something like that. So, but I just want to just do something, and so we figured we do it, and so that's that. So get in there. No, I don't know the answer. If you join today, if it matters, if it's versus, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, of course, that counts.
Yeah, sure. In the future, whatever, maybe we'll do something else and whatever. But that's where we're at for today. Make sure that you get in there. So we have NBA and we have NFL, and Matt, come in here. I was hoping to have my kids down here because you know what? Matt was asking, how the hell do you freaking build a lineup for a slate or anything like that? Because he just kind of does, whatever. And I was actually showing him my sheet for today to give an idea of what, of like how to build a lineup without an optimizer, kind of whatever. But let's just say you wanted to to do vibe by looking at some kind of projection model and just come up with good plays. And it was an interesting slate because usually, as I was explaining to him, let me see if I can share my screen here.
Yep.
Add source of share screen. It's, I have a new monitor, so it's like kind of, it's a little harder. Entire screen. Let's share this one. It might look ugly. Let's see what happens. It's very possible. It looks, it's not that bad. But so the point is, usually what happens is you could play, the top projected guys, because invariably there's always like a bunch of guys out or whatever that renders these cheap value plays really playable. But the problem is that because it's Christmas, nobody wants to sit out. Okay. And because nobody wants to sit out, there's usually not any great value plays. And usually what ends up happening as a result of that is that DraftKings usually makes these slates like kind of soft pricing wise, but not today. Like usually they'll say, okay, this is no value, whatever. We want people to play. We'll make, LeBron 8,800, we'll do whatever just to make sure people play who you want. But it's not so easy today. So what I did was I kind of rated the guys for him. I said, okay, these are just point per dollar plays, right? So like if you had to come up with like a lineup, you'd want to pick some guys from here. And even he was like kind of quick to point out, it's like, so basically what you want is kind of the highest priced guy that has a good point per dollar projection. I'm like, yeah, actually that's actually probably a decent way of looking at it, because that combines both upside and whatever. So he was about to actually just tell me what he came up with, and then I started, and he like kind of disappeared. So Matt, he has it right here. Okay, so what he came up with, based on my stuff, was a lineup of Poole, Marcus Smart, LeBron. Which Jackson is this? I guess Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson.
Steven Adams, Patrick Beverly, Austin Reeves, and Mitch Robinson. Now, again, like this was just based on projections or whatever. And I think that in general, they're probably all pretty decent plays. Whether they combine for a good GPP lineup is something different. But that is kind of one way you can start. Another way you can start is just by just running our projections and having our optimizer build a lineup or whatever. But again, these are for people who are here for like the first. But aside from that, I mean, as far as the NBA slate goes, obviously we'll do that one first because that starts at 12. Is what's unique about this slate is that there are 5 games all on islands, so you have a chance to just kind of continue to reevaluate and reassess and swap and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm going to actually try my best to update projection throughout the day, but I'm only going to really do it if like someone's out, because if I really would be very suspicious of a projection that changed if a guy does not get ruled out. Like all of a sudden someone changed their mind about a guy's usage rate. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to stick with what we have as of now, unless somebody gets ruled out. Like look, it's possible Draymond doesn't play. I doubt it, but like I presume that all these guys that are here are going to play. But if they don't, and guys get ruled in or ruled out or whatever, and maybe there's a surprise starter, then I'll update them. But just presume that there's going to be no projections update. And the last thing before again we get into more stuff is I'm definitely going to be there at 11. Okay, so 11 tonight when there's the last NFL game.
Unfortunately, I have Christmas dinner, so I can't promise that one.
The last NFL game and the last NBA game. That's all going to be rolling at the same time. With $1 million riding for someone in the NFL and
$250,000.
Not only 250,000, but $24 and $2,424 on the line for someone in the last NBA game. There's going to be somebody sweating something. Okay,
right.
So that's some stuff. So what are you thinking about the NBA? Because what happens is you get. And it's so funny. I was explaining how this all works to Matt, and I'm going through here, and I'm wondering why guys like, for example, like Tim Hardaway, and rate to be pretty high owned. And remember, like, there's very little value. And I'm looking through here, and I'm looking on DraftKings. Like, he's the only small forward eligible guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's reasonable. Besides, like
Austin
LeBron.
Reeves, yeah,
and Austin Reeves.
Right.
So what are you doing today? What is your initial take?
Well, let me touch on a couple of things. Well, first of all, like in relation to Matt's lineup, actually, that sounds like a good lineup, but I think you'd actually have low enough ownership. The problem, I would say, is I don't think in general you should ever, like, yes, there's a way they can both get there, but Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr. always negatively correlate to each other. Jaren Jackson Jr. gets a lot of the other 5 minutes when Steven Adams isn't playing. Steven Adams occasionally, based on matchup, Steven Adams may play 33 minutes and he may play 20 minutes. And it depends on how the matchup's going. Also, that game worries me to get out of hand, so I would always want 2 Warriors on the other side if I was going to play. Well, I guess those guys are low enough, are cheap enough. But if I was going to play most Memphis, I think I'd want to play at least 2 Warriors. They also work as placeholder guys because you can adjust. Although on today, of all days, as I always say every Christmas, you're going to get less news than you ever would because everybody wants to get up for this. This is the NFL Thanksgiving slate. You know what I mean? For the NBA, this is the time where everybody wants to sort of show out. It also usually is a day where superstars tend to overperform. And I think that's something it's really important today. The problem is the lack of value. So you're going to make, for me, what I'm doing is I'm playing. I mean, if you look at ownership on every one of these spend ups, there's really nobody particularly high owned. And I think that's pretty accurate because it's hard to get him in. Luka against the Lakers on a big slate, we would be trying to get him in because it's in that matchup. It's why everybody else on Dallas is projecting so well. You're going to have nobody on Giannis, nobody on Jokic, nobody on Embiid. Embiid crushes on any televised games, and he crushes on Thanksgiving every year. I'm sorry, on Christmas every year. You're going to have nobody on Tatum, nobody on Ja Morant. And I think that you could stack and pray. I think there's a very good chance Memphis beats the hell out of Golden State. But I think that on a day like today, maybe you just sort of throw that out the window and you go for that kind of a stack. So what I'm doing is looking at a little bit more stacking. The Lakers and Dallas is an interesting one. Well, I guess let's start with the Knicks and Philly. I actually really like this stack. I mean, you know my affection, and it almost came to, it wasn't going to win me the big one because I didn't have the right mix of the guys. But I feel like all the Knicks, you could argue, are being under projected. Now they're going to have some ownership, but their expected fantasy totals, I think that I guess maybe they're fine for the median. I will bet that one of Randall, Brunson, and Barrett get 50 today, or 45 plus. And really, if they're at 40 for Brunson or Barrett, you're good. And also, there's upside on that. Randall with a legitimate shot at 50. I really like the idea of trying to be overweight those guys, just based on the minutes and the production on the court, even in a tough matchup against Philly. And because of it, I really want to try to play either Harden or Embiid on the other side. I think people will play some Harden, and I don't think they'll play Embiid. And I think that Embiid is going to smash today. So that's one sort of build, is take two of those Knicks guys and play them with one of these two. And then you're going to have to play you're going to have to play Austin Reeves and Tim Hardaway. But you can eat some chalk because you're not going to be on what everybody else is doing. And then you could play some of the suspect value from Golden State and hope that game turns into a blowout. Dallas and the Lakers, I feel like, I don't know what's going on. Like Westbrook they were whatever. The other night when they lost, he was one of the few players with I think he had the best plus minus again on the court. At some point, these minutes are going to trend back in the right direction, and I just am willing to continue to gamble on it when people are off of it. So Westbrook at under 10% ownership with no Anthony Davis would have been like if you played this at certain times of the season, this would have been Westbrook is the chalkiest player on the slate. And instead, because of recency, and we know there's flexibility with that too. I mean, a few games ago, he ends up playing 35. It just goes up in the air a lot with these guys. So you're gonna have to make some uncomfortable plays. But I do like that game stack, and I think you could even play Westbrook with LeBron. I actually have a Westbrook, LeBron, and Luka. You have to play some really uncomfortable plays to get that to work. But including guys like Beverly, who are also in that game, but they can all get there if it plays out just right. More likely, though, what I'll do is for the value, when I'm really desperate for the ultimate bottom feeding value, is just try to take some shots with the Golden State guys. The Ty Jerome, James Wiseman, Moses Moody, there's still a really reasonable chance this game does blow out, even though that's not I don't think it's a guarantee like I have with the other games with Golden State. I mean, remember, this team keeps getting crushed, and they're playing the team that has the most wins over in double digits, the most wins by 20 plus points. This feels like it could be a Memphis situation like that. Not to mention, especially as it relates to Moody, he can get hot shooting, and as it relates to what's his name to Wiseman, the interesting part is they don't really have another big they can throw out there, and it's not like you need size because you're not going to post up Adams and Jackson and all that. But there is a way that game goes where Adams is getting is on pace for 20 rebounds. Looney gets in foul trouble. Wiseman maybe has to be on the court a little bit. There's also the blowout risk. So I'm sort of using that as speculative value. It also works for me because it's later in the day. So if anything were to pop up, you can always shift off of it. But I like those stacks. I particularly like the Knicks in Philly, really just running it back with one of Embiid, Melton, and Harden. And then there's the stack and pray game, which is the Memphis Golden State. I like the idea of playing one of Adams or Jaren Jackson with one of the uncomfortably priced, probably Moody or Jerome being the best options if the game were to stay close to actually have a chance to be on the court. But then you play it with Poole, some form of Poole, Draymond, and either DiVincenzo or Clay. And I think you've got a nice little low-owned stack if you do that, because no one's playing the Memphis side of that game. You play Ja and whoever, and or even just Ja. And I think that's a really interesting way to go as well. I'm not very interested in the final game of the night, and I'm not very interested in the Milwaukee-Boston game as far as stacking purposes go. But everybody in that game should certainly be, considered in play. If there was one guy, the ones who you want to look at for value, Robert Williams and Al Horford, you don't play them together. You play one of the two of them. I prefer Williams today, but I don't mind Horford. And it's a game stack I'm not really getting into. Another cheapo play is Javon Carter as another guy we can use for value. So that's sort of the way that this slate is breaking down to me, is sort of getting. I've got my little list as one of Hardaway, Luka, and Dinwiddie, one of Brunson, Randall, Barrett, maybe two of them if I'm stacking that game, one of Harden, Embiid, or Melton, but preferably, obviously you'd like to get up, but I actually like Melton too here today. Thomas Bryant, I'm going to be overweight on even a pretty high ownership thing. Williams or Horford, as I mentioned, and then I think Westbrook, LeBron. I think one of those guys, if not both of them, make a lot of sense. The price is reasonable enough. You get enough discount off the top guys for LeBron, and I think he's got a chance to go nuts. And he's another narrative-driven guy who does tend to play well on these big slates. So that's sort of the overall outlook. I would be focused heavily more on game stacking, or at least getting some correlation. Like, there's no lineup. There's no way in the world I'd make a lineup with Embiid with none of the Knicks, for example. There's no way in the world I'd make a Ja lineup without three of the Warriors, So I think correlation becomes the key on this kind of a slate.
I got a couple of narrative guys for you, just for. I mean, we're just talking like this is Christmas, whatever it is. So, first of all, with your idea of the Philly game, I think that's going to be like, if you can get away with that, I think you're going to really be happy, because that's going to be probably the most low owned game, I think, just because it's the lowest total and it's the early game.
Yep.
So if you can, listen, you could put a number up there on that. I think that's pretty strong.
Right.
And the other one, and again, while Embiid has in fact, done well on these types of slates, I just can't help but remember that probably the biggest smash since I've been playing DFS was the Enes Kanter anti-Embiid slate breaker on Christmas a few years ago. So maybe Mitch Robb can make that work, as probably the lowest owned center on the board. So that's one kind of like stupid narrative thing you could do. And the other one, another guy who's playing on today's slate, who's also going to be 2% owned, who broke another Christmas slate in a completely different situation, but who cares, is Damian Lee. Damian Lee, a couple of Christmases ago when he was on Golden State.
Yeah, he went nuts.
Went nuts. I don't know. Who knows? 5-game slates. It's kind of like showdown slates in the NFL. No one can tell me it's a bad play. So
right.
So these are guys. Well, now as far as like,
Mitch Robb, I think is a real play. I don't think that's a bad play.
Right.
The Kanter thing with Embiid has always been a thing. For whatever reason, Kanter just always crushes it, and they both crush each other. Like Kanter can't guard Embiid for some reason. Embiid ends up giving up 20-20s to Kanter. I don't really understand it.
Right.
But I'm more on the Hartenstein side of that situation, and betting on not only foul trouble, but like even if Hartenstein just gets his normal minutes, like that's fine with me. I'll take a chance there anyway. But there's a chance for more minutes because of the potential foul trouble from Mitch Robb. Now the only problem is you could argue that Jericho Sims might be a guy they would bring in, but but he won't play as many minutes as Hartenstein most of the time. But I think getting some access to those guys is important. But I really do like this game in general. I don't care about when it comes to the Knicks playing 40 minutes a night when they're back in that mode. I don't care about games totals at all. You're just gonna get there so much. I mean, we saw it the other night. Randall and Barrett combined for what 120, what was it, 108, 15 or something like that.
Did they?
That was that game they both put 58. And that's just going to keep happening. It's a tougher matchup, obviously, but you can't sell me that one of these guys from the Knicks doesn't put up a big number today. That's something I'm just going to have to be over. I'll be overweight on a full slate, much less a small slate where here are the most secure minutes of the night. The only problem is it gets negated a little bit with Christmas because everybody has a higher minute ceiling on Christmas who's a starter or a stud or something like that. This is the NBA's time, so they're going to actually really, really focus on letting guys play more minutes, which is always why historically I've always played Giannis on Christmas because he would go from playing 30 minutes a game and then he'd play 38 or something like that.
Remember that game a few years ago where Giannis got just obliterated by who was it? By Embiid, right?
By who?
Embiid. Remember Embiid just destroyed Giannis in that game?
But Giannis has the
one by 40 or something like that.
Wait, on Christmas?
I thought so.
They had a Christmas game where they played and Giannis put up 70, and I know that he was like
maybe the opposite then. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the opposite.
But maybe it was different. It could have been different years for sure. These guys play on Christmas every time. So
what do you think of Westbrook today?
I started off with him. I am absolutely I think this is the perfect kind of gamble. He's projected to be sub 10% owned. I probably have 50%, 40% of him, and I'm just willing to take a gamble with that. I don't know if I'll end up really with 50 because I'm trying to get the game stacks focused a little bit. So maybe it ends up as 35%, but still significantly over the field is how I would treat it. I actually would treat all the Lakers a little bit over the field because the other ones are cheap, and then Bryant is reasonable, and I think LeBron is the cheapest of the spend all the way ups, unless you want to say Harden. I think you could make a really good argument between those two as in very different ways as who's the better play today. And I just don't think I like you said, I don't think any of these questionables are probably going to sit, but you never know what happens. So I would like to I just want to reemphasize that I have way too much of the Golden State nonsense in my lineups right now. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly a bunch of nonsense. I mean,
well, yeah, go ahead. Great.
I don't know. I mean, I first of all, I got a ton of Draymond Green.
No, I mean the cheap guys.
Oh, you mean and Jordan Poole? Oh, okay. So Kuminga's. What about DiVincenzo?
Yeah, I mean, all those plays rate to be fine. I prefer them in a game stack. These are all fine plays, but in order for them to get there, you need the game to stay close enough. And if the game stays close enough, Ja on the other side at zero ownership, LeBron's going to be 20%. Ja's going to be probably 3 or 4% owned because Bane's back. I'll take that gamble.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll play Ja and I'll play a cheap Steven Adams on the other side for value, save a little bit. I like that game stack. That's between the Knicks, Dallas, and Golden State. Those three game stacks are going to be the sort of the cores I'm building and then filtering in who I'm going to be playing from those lineups. I'm trying to edit while I go and see if I can do this. I have so much interest in the first game. I'm having a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to have to maybe when you talk, start doing some pivots because I have some guys who I'm a little uncomfortable with in my builds right now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of inclined, I think, to it's what's cool about this is I think like I said, one of us is going to have to win. I'm sort of inclined to just push at least my big buy-in back to the later games. So I'll root for you. You know what I mean? Like in the first game.
I appreciate it.
And then if they bust, then you can root for me. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dude, I love it. I think. Listen, Jimmy definitely gets the tweet of the day or the comment of the day. That's just awesome. I love it. I want to put this on Twitter actually and pretend it's mine. That's how good this is. He says, "How do you not play a wise man on Christmas?" I mean, literally, That's the stuff that back in my younger days I'd be coming up with like that, like boom. I'd be so freaking sharp that would be just like rolling off my freaking tongue like in 2 seconds. But now, you get freaking spent like dealing with all these freaking Chris Middletons and all these other guys you start playing and all the stock stuff I deal and all these kids running around the house and back out of the house. And now I can't do it anymore. But this is why Jimmy's giving me hope that there are still people that are really, really sharp like that and come up with this like on the fly.
I don't understand the reason why that Wiseman thing. Oh, wise man. Okay.
Sorry. Yes. You're spent too. See what happens? That's it. There you go. We're both dead.
I was like legitimately trying to figure out what you were talking about.
Yeah. Dead. So you're dead, and you're only like what 30? And you know what I mean? Like, so it's ridiculous.
I'm 40.
I know. I'm kidding. You got to get with me. You got to stay with me. It's Christmas.
I'm a little slower than you are. I'm a little slow today. I'm a little slow.
I'm not getting any wise man. No, I mean,
I'm getting.
Yes, I am actually. I think that's actually some pretty cool, cheap. Like as Bob was saying, I think that's pretty decent Golden State nonsense. You can get to.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, can I tell you something about the NFL? I don't know what I have to do to like be a human being, but I just can't do it. Remember, what did I say for like hours yesterday? I'm like, I have to remember, I'm going to go and do my late swap pivots, and I'm just going to freaking do it. And then it's exactly what happened. I was about to leave to go over to Evans for scans, his potato pancakes. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm just over it. I just don't feel like it. You know what I mean? I just forget that I didn't do it again. But for the NBA, I'm definitely going to remember to do it this time. I actually did okay in the NFL. I had a couple of guys away from really just burying the field yesterday. I ended up like making a little bit in DraftKings and then like making like 50% of my money on FanDuel. But I really thought I had freaking shots. I go, listen, obviously this wasn't going to be just me, but God forbid Minnesota, that guy doesn't kick the 60-yard field goal.
Yeah, that could have gone. Yeah.
Well, me and the rest of the country, they get more Vikings or whatever. But how good was TJ Hawkinson? I mean, he was like, and it was so funny. Like we were watching the game, like Matt and I, and like when we were rooting for the Giants. So when Minnesota has the ball, I'm like, listen, just guard Hawkinson and Jefferson, leave Thielen wide open because he doesn't even exist. Like they don't even throw to him. Just double team the other two guys. The Osborne doesn't exist. Thielen is like already in retirement. He's off the field. It's just Hawkinson. Hawkinson and Jefferson, and so that was. I mean, it was a wild one. That was. I had like 15 or 20% of Hawkinson, but I don't know how I lost my highest owned players were AJ Smith and Devontae Smith and CeeDee Lamb by the end of the day. And that looked like it would have been a really good thing. And I cashed 2 out of my 5 big buy-ins that, were fine. But I just couldn't get the right mix of everything else. And just so much weirdness at running back. It was a really weird slate until the second half game started. It looked like it was going to be a very, very, very low scoring slate. I have a question. Who wins the NFC Championship game between San Francisco and Philly?
I think that San Francisco will be favored.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be. I think those two teams, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah, but also, I think it's pretty much locked. I mean, I was off of your call. I actually was talking to friends later in the day, but I was heavy on beating the Philly money line drum, so they didn't quite get there. But the more I thought about that game, I just started thinking, God, what a thing for Philly! And Philly did. They tried to play their best with
Philly. Was great. They were great.
She was great too.
Yep, everybody was good.
Yep. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, that was the other thing that I couldn't get the right Mahomes things in. And, maybe Mahomes shouldn't win the MVP. I love Mahomes.
I'll bet you all were like just laughing. I mean, so hard because I was like throwing the proverbial. I wasn't really throwing anything, but I was like, when this happened, I'm like, seriously? When they freaking handed the aforementioned Kadarius Toney the end around touchdown, like the first play of the game or something like that. Everybody's like, hey, sheets with your Kadarius Toney. F you all. I don't think
I know, and I did play some Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, so I don't think I got a target the rest of the game.
But you kind of won
what about the aforementioned the worst receiver in all football? Freaking MVS. What did he get 0? You know what I mean? He's a horror show. That's like I said. That's how good Kansas City is.
Yeah, they always score, and Mahomes always has a big game, and yet nobody knows who the hell he's throwing the ball to.
Well, yeah, I know who they're throwing to. They're getting it to freaking McKinnon every day. That's
yeah. Well, McKinnon, but he only ended up with 12. Like
I know.
But it looked at the beginning, it was just like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah. All right. So what are we going to do on FanDuel here?
I'm not playing the FanDuel one. Let me see. I didn't enter it. Maybe I should.
I just played the I just played a bunch, some in the lottery. And I'm just redoing them all right now, actually.
You played some in the lottery.
Yeah, just in the lottery.
Yeah, let me just.
And I'll show you guys how I do. So what I did was I listen. I feel bad about this, but people are posting in the Discord like I don't think that the projections are moving to True DFS and moving to SaberSim. I try my best. I can't be the support.
Yeah, and we'll get it fixed with Evan. It's just a matter because it's working for football, but not for basketball right now. It's something we can fix easily. It's just on Christmas Day, it's going to be tough to fix.
I just feel bad that I can't do it. You know what I mean? But I can't. And don't be mad at me if I don't see not you, but like don't be mad if I don't see the support stuff. And like all I do is I put the stuff, I upload, and then whatever happens to it is just out of my hands.
Yeah.
But just so you know, if it doesn't go to SaberSim, you can still get it there. You know what I mean? You just download it from the projection page, and put it up on the SaberSim yourself. Anyway. So let me just see, just for fun, what it would look like if I just built lineups just with my projection. I don't know, what am I going to build? 40. Let's build 40 lineups, and let's just see what I would get on FanDuel. I think it's interesting to see what might be a different, different exposures would be. Like who's cheaper on FanDuel? Robert Williams, like 80%. That's what I'd be getting on FanDuel. And on FanDuel, you can get to Luka pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Well, I don't know. Oh, there's Kuminga again at 4,200. Same crap as before, right? Remember he was 80% owned the last time.
Yeah, but this time they have he's probably not starting, and they have another body. Well, he might start, but they have another body back. They've got I doubt that he would start. So yeah, he would. I don't think unless they bring DiVincenzo off the bench. DiVincenzo was out of that game also, so they were even shorter handed than they are today.
Just so you guys know what I'm doing right now, and this is what I do recommend if you are going to use SaberSim. You make the builds, and then you go to this stack types page, and I like to manually adjust this. In other words, like on a slate like this, I really don't want to have 4 from any team. I mean, you could make the case that you could make that work, but for whatever reason, I just don't feel like it. So what you could do is after you make your builds, you can go here and I put maximum exposure 0 to 4 3s, 4 2s, and anybody with 4, and then you just hit apply, and it automatically just kind of redoes your lineups for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, people always ask me like how I do my process and how do I use SaberSim for these NME type builds. And that is one thing that I do is not that I don't trust it, but I just, for whatever reason, feel sometimes that SaberSim will give you like sometimes just in my opinion, too many from the same team. And listen, if there's like extreme value, and we talk about that sometimes, then you can get away with it. But on a day like this, I just don't think that people are cheap enough and project well enough to play 4 of them from the same team.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, I kind of agree with you that I do think it's a stacking type of slate. I just don't know exactly what to do. And the thing I would advise is I would not be as down on that last game. I think I see some variations where like maybe Jamal Murray and Devin Booker just
Jamal Murray. I like what you're saying, but I think Jamal Murray and Porter are the main plays. But I do think Devin Booker is just always a threat to go nuts, and at low ownership, but these guys all fit that category today, right?
Yeah,
they could all kind of go nuts here.
Yeah,
yeah.
And as we were saying with Porter, we've been talking about Jokic for the last month, right? That even though he's expensive, sometimes you can try to get him in because without Porter Jr. in there, I mean, it's a really big deal for him. Yeah. So with Porter back, I mean, not that. Listen, you're never going to catch me saying that that Jokic is a bad play, right? But it definitely is harder for him to hit that ceiling than it has been. Let's put it that way.
Yep. Agreed on everything you said. Beverly Poole. I'm trying to just get some a little bit less. I don't feel like I need. It's funny. I keep thinking I don't need to have like 80% of Austin Reeves, but maybe you do.
80%. What about Beverly?
That's the other one. That's what I'm rotating out. But I like Reeves better for what it's worth. Okay. But I am getting to Beverly too. So
here's I'll give you an example. I'm showing you exactly what I'm playing on Yahoo right now, because all I'm doing, I'm just screwing around, is playing some lottery stuff. So this is what I'm doing. I'm uploading the projections here, and then I will, just build just like this, and you guys will see what I come up with. I mean, it was my projections, but literally SaberSim's building these right now, and then I'll show you the adjustments I make after I see what it looks like. So the first thing I'll look at is Draymond Green, 92%. I just don't feel like it. You know what I mean? And you can do that. So what I'll do is I'll trust him a little bit, and I'll just max 30. I'll just max 70 for basically everybody. And I'll hit apply and see what I come up with. And then, okay, so DiVincenzo, Green, and Hardaway still the highest owned, but all this is fine. And then, like I said before, I'll go to stack types and see what I'm getting here. And actually, it's not that bad. So only a couple lineups give me 4 from 1. So then I will put max exposure 0 and hit apply. And then for Yahoo, I'll do one tiny little sanity check. Like I'll look and see, if anything I really don't like. And I don't see anything like egregious right away. So we will just download these, and then I will just upload them into Yahoo, and away we go. And believe it or not, listen, it depends on your skill set or whatever. Like especially when it comes to Yahoo, I actually prefer this process, which is as easy as it is, to actually going through by hand. I think that DraftKings, for whatever reason, I have a little bit better luck when I don't want to say replace the projections with my own, but that's kind of the wrong way to say it. But doing more kind of like conscious play, instead of like just letting the SaberSim stuff do its thing. I have no problem doing it on FanDuel, and I'll tell you that I've had a lot of luck on FanDuel with this process. You get these freaking lineups that just don't make any sense, but they just seem to get there. I don't know. DraftKings, maybe just people are just kind of too sharp, and you just can't get away with that. But on the Yahoo, I mean, this is kind of what I do. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I am now, I believe, done with at least my lineup builds, and so I can answer questions now in general or whatever. Oh, I have to make mats as well. So Kyle was saying Luka and LeBron on DK. Sure, if you could do it.
I have it. I have one of my big builds like that, so I can vouch for it.
Well, let's see what you can do. So let's have some fun. Let's build a lineup with these guys that you said. So if you played Luka, you get him only a point guard. You play LeBron. We'll put him at small forward for now. Mm-hmm. So at 4,500 a man. Okay. So let me just, again, this is the way I would kind of do this. Let me pull up my sheet again and see who the good point per dollar plays are. Bobby remembers them. I don't remember them. I have to actually just see. Let's see. NBA. Okay. So Bryant is a center. Bryant, there's Hartenstein at 3,200. Robert Williams at 4,300. So who'd be your favorite of these guys between Bryant? I guess Bryant's the best play, right? Well, let's see if we can get him first. Okay, so let's see if we can make him work. And you get a little stackness out of that game. So if you do that, you have 4,200 a man. You could play another center if you like Robert Williams. Let me just see here. Who are good plays at this price tag? I guess Beverly, right? So you could put Beverly in. Yeah, I mean, you could see right away that you could make this work. Power forward, we're talking about guys like well, you might end up playing LeBron a power forward, right? So, but Horford would be the best. As look what I have, right? You have anybody better than Horford? Or you don't even like Horford?
No, I do. I like Robert Williams.
So I don't think we definitely can't play Robert Williams and Horford again. We can,
Yeah.
but
Sorry, I didn't see. I'm trying to go through my lineups here.
No, I know. I'm just trying to answer his question about you could play these two together. Yeah, I mean, like you can, right?
Let me see. What was the question? I'm sorry, I was distracted.
He was asking how to play LeBron and Luka together. So I was just kind of like, just
if you play them, you should play them together. This is the way I
just throw. No, I'm just saying that you could throw these. There's enough kind of like crappy value to make it work, right? You're going to end up maybe playing either, like you said, either Beverly or Austin Reeves or something like that. You just have to live with it. You'll really need that game to go off. And one thing I will say is that Dallas games don't go off too much, but you know what? Luka games go off by themselves. So,
well, the Laker games go off all the time.
That's true.
That's what you're playing for.
I kind of would rather play Luka with Westbrook for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm just steamed because the Westbrook didn't work out the other day.
I like Westbrook. I mean, it made no sense the other day too. Like everybody else is minus and he's plus. It just doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes what they do. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it, but it's frustrating.
Yeah. You playing any like Tobias Harris or anything like that from this early game or?
A little bit, but not certainly not trying to do it. Just happen to sort of end up there in a few spots.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely put the stuff back. Guys, you'll notice that like in my initial builds, I do have the guys that Bobby talked about probably not playing together. And I'll probably change that depending on how it works. Like right now, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. and Adams together in just some lineups, just because. But those will probably end up getting tweaked around a little bit. I just wanted to just kind of see what's up. And Morant is obviously always playable, Quentin Grimes, you playing any of him from that early game?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of Grimes. I'm throwing in my like in the millionaire maker whatever thing. I'm throwing in like weird play. Like I'm throwing Jericho Sims into some lineups. I'm throwing PJ Tucker into some lineups. I'm throwing Gorgeous Niang. It allows me to spend up, and I don't need all of these guys to get there if I keep cycling them through, right? So right. I think it's really important to try to try to get a little different with your builds on these littler slates. And my way of getting different is the most fun way possible. It's just playing the studs, and then just hoping for something from some of these guys. I don't need all of them to hit. You know what I mean? I just need a few of them. I need a Moody, a Jerome, Niang, Wiseman here and there, Hartenstein. Some of these guys, I'll throw. I said I'm throwing Jericho Sims into the mix as well. Just because I'm just trying to find any path I can to get weird with this one, and that's what I've come up with so far.
So here's going to be Matt's. Oh, here's the one thing I would remember. I have to teach him how to do this. So yeah, he had Adams earlier. He had Adams in the center instead of Mitch Robb, and Mitch Robb the early game. So we got to switch that.
Yeah, that's another big
so we'll put Adams over there because I'm probably going to end up making him change the Adams to.
I just want to throw out one more. I have Davis Bertans in way more lineups than you think I should. And
what team is he? What team is he on nowadays?
He's on Dallas, but his minutes are trending up. It's the kind of team where he can get hot. And look, I just need 15, man. Just give me 15 fantasy points, and I'll be happy, man.
Right.
I'm not asking for a ton if I can get there with my top guys. I mean, I have a Westbrook, Embiid, Luka lineup, which just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, if you don't play the non-stars and scrubs lineups, you're going to end up with like probably a bunch of Spencer Dinwiddie and a bunch of Tim Hardaway. Mm-hmm. Those guys are like okay plays, but they're not great plays.
Yeah. I think that there's upside for all those guys, but you're right. They're not. It's not like you. There's nobody you feel like you absolutely need to force in on this slate at all. not one player. That's where I'm at anyway.
Yeah.
And in some of these other like really fringy play, like Derek White getting no ownership is kind of interesting. I know he had a big game the other day, and it's not like what we expect from him, but he's 4,200. Like if you're looking for value, let's play some of these guys and take some chances.
Yeah.
I just think it makes a lot of sense, and because of it, I'm okay with playing the chalkier Hardaway because I'm mixing and matching those guys. And I didn't max enter today. I was considering it, just got too much stuff going on to quite be able to do it, but I definitely thought about it. Westbrook, White, and then you go Jackson, Hardaway, and Harris. Didn't we end Hardaway together? Yeah, that actually works. All right. And then we could talk a little football in a minute if you want to.
Yeah, I thought that maybe you'd wait till I would.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing. I'm just trying.
No, I thought I would lose you for like 15 minutes while you did your lineups, and maybe you'd come back and we would talk football. But
right now I'm happy to talk to. Well, I'm trying to. You're right. I guess I'm trying to get through my lineups, but I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense in some of these things. Yeah, I have a ton of Austin Reeves today. Just the way it's going to be.
The way it's going to be, huh?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You know what's funny about him? Like I said, I'll take like 4.5x out of some of these guys. And Austin Reeves has put up 24 or more in 4 straight games. Like,
right.
He is clearly, and he plays crunch time. You know what I mean? When Beverly might look sexy to some people, it's Austin Reeves who's going to be on. Austin Reeves is much more sure to be on the court usually than these other guys are at the end of the game, even with Beverly and Westbrook sometimes.
Right.
I do like the Michael Porter play though for later. I think that's a good low-owned one. You should get some ownership in.
Has he had full minutes yet? I mean, since he's been back.
His first game back, he played 27 minutes, and it's enough for me to take a chance at 5,900. And what I'm presuming will be low ownership, but again, those things I'm not 100%. Well, yeah, it should be low ownership actually. Maybe I can do a little better here. See, I'd like to play Grimes in my Knicks game stacks because he doesn't. It's funny because Grimes, it's just the minutes are like make you salivate, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's just, but the thing is, we're used to the result too. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean much is going to happen. Like, but there's just, I mean, it could. Do you know who's another weird one that no one will play? But there is some routes for him every which way, and Brandon Clark.
You sure?
It's Golden State, like blowout possibility, going to get run no matter what. If he's playing well, could stay on the court. Steven Adams, maybe they go smaller and use he and Jackson in the front court. Like, it's totally possible that happens.
The one thing, Matt, the one thing I would say, Matt, is one thing you might want to do, like a little later, that Bobby pointed out, is you're playing both, and I put your lineup in. We both, it's approved as far as like players go, but we might want to take out. You might want to do something because you have Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson in the same lineup, and they sometimes can take like rebounds away from one another and stuff. So maybe
they'll rotate. They'll play Jackson at the 5 if they decide to go smaller in this game, which they do a lot of the time. It's just Adams it's just hard for them both to usually get there unless Adams is really productive in his minutes because you see Adams' minutes, they tend to trend between 18 and 34, and it's just if it goes to 18, it means Jackson's going to have a big game or Brandon Clark, and if it goes to 34, that means it's really hard for Jackson to be quite as effective.
So we'll wait and see how we're doing because you have a good low owned play in the first game, the Mitch Rob. Like if he and by the way, the other thing I switched, I put Mitch Rob in the center instead of the utility. This way you have the later guy in there. So we'll see if Mitch Rob does well, then we'll be able to adjust accordingly.
Yep. All right. Let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, we're gonna do that in a minute.
Luka, Bertans. Boy, if you told me I was going to be playing Davis Bertans in the lineup and big NBA buying, I would have thought you were crazy.
What do you have?
The Bertans thing. I've got like 20% of them.
We're not end up winning anything or no?
No.
It's so sketchy.
This happens sometimes.
Can that ever cash?
Oh, Bobby, I don't know if you saw this. For those of you who are listening, this is brutal. So the Circa pool yesterday, the Circa Survivor pool,
Yeah.
it was complete freaking devastation. Like half the people had Detroit, they lost. One person had Cleveland, they lost. 3 people had Tennessee, they lost. One guy lucked that he had Minnesota for the 64 1-yard field goal.
Oh God.
And wait. So going into last night, there was one guy who had Minnesota and 3 guys or only other guys left. They all had Pittsburgh. So if the Raiders won last night, the other guy would have won $6 million on the spot.
Oh my God.
Yup. And in the freaking depth of cold, Pickett led the freaking touchdown drive to beat the Raiders at the end. So they're still at 4. There's still at 4 left. I couldn't imagine that freaking sweat of like the guy. All he needed was like the Raiders just to hang on for $6 million. And they Pittsburgh and the guy Pittsburgh's, man, they've been doing that stuff at home. And listen, it's like the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception and all this stuff. You know, it's a rough scene, man. So that pool continues to progress.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a wild one yesterday. I can't believe, I don't know how taking the Raiders must have been what you have left, I guess. So I don't know, but
yeah.
Because that felt like that felt like a game that was like just there's no way the Steelers are going to lose no matter what, you know.
But what happens is, I mean, you go through the list of like top favorites, and like everybody else was taken. I mean, like it was like impossible. I mean, why would you think? And half the people took Detroit. I mean, why would they do that? I mean, they were a tiny little favorite. You know what I mean? Like same thing.
Right.
You know, but that's what happens. You run out of teams. So they're down to 4 in that one.
Ugh. All right, I gotta make this change here. Sending quickly. I have so many players in this early game. I'm kind of having to just have to get more. Trying to make sure I get everything in here. Let's see. Reeves, Hardaway, blah, 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 blah. Porter. Too much Porter.
Moody. Yeah, so whenever you're ready, I mean, again, like, let's take some more.
Give me just 1 minute here.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we'll start talking about the football. Oh my God, it's like warming up here. It's like 23. That's crazy. I went out. I took a walk today. It was 18. Yeah, I found my squeal point, by the way. 18, I'm not walking.
It's freezing
out. Yeah, 18 was brutal.
That's rough.
Yeah, 18 was tough. I went like for like a mile. Yeah.
Hartenstein.
And I had my heavy coat on and everything.
Moody. Okay.
What's up, K9? You know, maybe since K9 comes in with the Merry Christmas, maybe, just for him. Maybe we'll start the NFL with FanDuel.
Oh, interesting. I actually got to enter a FanDuel app, so it'll be a good start for me to figure out what I want to do.
K9 is more of a FanDuel guy. So in the Christmas spirit. But in general, I mean, I think it's probably pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But we will see about that. We got one guy with UGG FanDuel, another guy's like Yay FanDuel. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes horse racing, so to speak.
All right, here we go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Who is my?
They already have the salaries out for freaking January 1st games. They shouldn't do that. They should wait to see what happens with the injuries. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's going to be a crazy one. Then you're going to end up a ton of value.
I mean, already those last 2 games they have like all these guys that sit out, and it's like these running backs you've never heard of.
Yeah.
You guys made me sign up for DraftKings to play in the free roll. Yeah, it's great.
Hey, we should get some credit from DraftKings. Come on.
That's it. Yeah, that's where my affiliate fees from this tournament. It's like probably like 2 cents.
The Eagles can't bench.
The Eagles can't
Now
sit
they can't
anymore.
sit anymore because the Vikings are 1 game back.
Well, the Vikings are 1 game back, right?
Yep,
But who
that's
do the
right.
Eagles have next week?
I don't know who the Eagles are.
Saints and then the Giants.
Eagles play the Saints and the Giants.
Giants are just a win and in either game.
Or they could even
Or a
win
bunch-
both
or some
teams
losses.
loses, right?
If they lose out, New York Times had 75% chance of making it.
By the way, we start thinking about football. Can you if I asked you to answer like in 5 seconds, you could probably do it only because like you're young. But if I asked you like in 1 second, like who is the defending Super Bowl champion?
We talked about
Oh, we
it.
did talk about this yesterday.
The Rams Bengals.
The Rams. I mean, it's freaking amazing, right?
Hey, it's not that amazing. Come on, it's my Rams.
Still amazing how young Burrow is.
Yeah, Burrow's kind of ridiculous.
Burrow is amazing.
Yeah, he's almost as good as Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm. A good game.
Daniel Jones is great. What are you gonna do?
He played well yesterday. He was on the winning millionaire lineup.
Oh, did he win? He did his. What did he?
Even though he didn't have the highest score, it's just the way it worked. Because it was a double stack with Hodgins and James, and then they had all the other right plays because
And then Hopkinson.
yeah,
Did mine catch?
Hawkinson, Jefferson,
Regular one day?
CD.
He must have.
Yeah.
Boy, I cannot figure.
All right, so we're gonna get this. So JJ says I want one hot take from Sheets' son on this NFL slate. We'll get one.
What was that? For which thing, Sheets?
He wants a Matt take for the NFL slate.
Oh yeah, give us one. I'll jump over there. Give me a second. I'm just got 4 minutes here.
Listen, there's takes from like Nerdy Tenor and you know these spreadsheet guys. They'll tell you that Tutu Atwell's like average depth per target is like 32.2% like higher than the median average, and based on a 1 over Fibonacci retracement from the mean, it's probably like 4% more likely to get there. But then there's the Matt takes. Matt takes are real world takes. He's like, I'm not taking Tutu Atwell because he's ass or something like that. That's the. Hey, you know what? I played how many the other day? 50 NBA lineups in DraftKings, and Matt played one and outscored me. So what the hell? Outscored all 50 with his.
There you go.
With his 1% owned Cole Anthony scoring 51 fantasy points the other day.
Am I really going to take a shot with Bones Highland today? Oh my God, I'm really in a stuck spot here. I got myself in trouble. Beverly 37, which would mean 42.
Dude, all I say is Adam Perry gave me all the real good news yesterday.
What was it?
Is that what's back in the lobby? Is the tennis slate? Been out of the tennis for like a month. For some reason they don't like to play tennis in the freezing cold, so they have as they took like a couple of weeks off, then they're going to go playing in Dubai or wherever the hell they play. So we're getting back to tennis. Hopefully the LOL slate start to pick up again. Golf is in the lobby for January 5th. MMA will be back in the lobby soon. Can't just keep dealing with this NBA freaking nonsense. Got to get some real sports.
Okay,
It's lucky we don't have CSGO or that. All right, so this is about to lock. So we're gonna lock whatever. This is about to get started. So we're gonna start talking about the NFL. We got 3 games, and this is like kind of funny that yesterday you had like 100 games and like only 2 of them had like good weather. Here you have 3 games and they're all good weather. So you have Green Bay at Miami, you have Denver at Rams in the SoFi Dome, and then you have Tampa at Arizona. Could have used a couple of more of the dome games yesterday. So first of all, what are your takes on the games? Actually, I'll give my takes on the games first, and then I guess Matt will give his takes on the game. I think Miami trashes Green Bay. I think Green Bay is pretty fraudulent, and I think Miami just hands it to them. That's my overall take. I think that unfortunately for Mr. Bobby's Rams, I think they're toast, and which is annoying because Denver's like really bad. But I think Denver actually gets the win in LA. And then Tampa, Arizona. I don't know what to make of this. You have Tampa. I mean, does Brady have like one good game left in him? Against at least an Arizona team that isn't really great defensively, but at least like their offense sucks. It's like Arizona doesn't have much going on either. So I don't really have. I guess I'll just go with the home team. I'll just play. I guess I'll go with Arizona. So I'm going to go with Miami as far as spreads go. Miami, Denver, and Arizona. Matt, who do you like in the game?
Who's going to win them?
Who's going to win? Well, it's a spread too. I'll take a look at the spreads here. What are the spreads in these games anyway?
Why is Miami only favored by 3.5? That's so weird.
Well, Packers are going to cover.
So Miami's 3.5 over Green Bay.
Yeah, that's one of those that Matt's taking your what you usually do. The spread makes absolutely zero sense. So let's take the team.
That's it.
That makes no sense for.
Matt likes Green Bay plus 3.5.
Like Rams under whatever their over under is.
Matt likes the under.
Or just the Rams.
Just the Rams part of the under.
Like the Rams total under.
These are the 2 lowest scoring teams in like the NFL.
It's 17.5.
I got it at 16.2
points.
This is the take. Matt's like, they're not scoring 17
Broncos
points.
defense good. Baker Mayfield sucks.
Broncos defense good. Baker
I agree with all of those statements. I still think they could squeak their way into like 20 points. But I totally agree that Baker Mayfield sucks and the Broncos are good. Defense is good.
What's the spread in that game? Is it like pick 'em or something?
3 for the Broncos.
Broncos favorite at the Rams. Who'da thunk?
It's actually weird though because in general, Denver is one of those teams that travels really well. Like this year doesn't matter, but there'll be more Broncos fans than Rams fans there.
Well, I mean, the thing that people don't, again, just to not to bury the lead, but Russell Wilson is back. If that, I don't even know if that's an upgrade.
I don't know what does that mean
over Brett Rippon, but he's at least back with some weapons. I mean, Cortland Sutton's apparently back.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Sutton and Judy and Dulcich or whatever. And we'll talk about that in a minute, I guess, because that certainly looks like it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
And Tampa and Tampa against Arizona. Okay, I myself like. As far as the sacks go, I like Miami the best. Tampa, I'm getting to a lot of, but I just feel uncomfortable with it. They're going to be popular, and I'd rather pivot if I could. Bobby just disappeared off the face of the earth.
There
he is. I actually like the Broncos. I actually like Denver. And that's the team I'm actually gonna bump up a little bit. I mean, it's a low total. It's kind of whatever, but I kind of like that as the third team. So for me, it's Miami, and then Tampa, and then Denver. Just because again, Denver. Listen, as opposed to the Rams, for example, like Denver, I know they have like competent receivers. You know what I mean? Like I know where this is going, and it just makes a little bit of sense. So that's where I'm at as far as overall teams. You disappeared. I can't hear you. You're like
Sorry about that. Denver's so good on paper, looking wise every game, but it's just I if it was me, I like because it's 3 games, sure, take whoever, but like I just don't like betting on or against these teams. Like the Rams, even as they've been terrible, have still like been hanging around just enough in games, which is bizarre. The Broncos, I mean, it's just been really bad, but they are healthier than they've been, but even when they were healthy, they couldn't score. And the Rams defense, even though one thing is they don't have as many guys. I think that is actually, I'm going to talk myself into it. In a dome, I think you could make an argument for a Broncos passing stack. And in terms of the game, I really don't have a good feel for what I would want to do. My instincts would say to Denver money line, and even the 3 points feels like close to a push. Like I feel like that's what the score is going to end up being, or something around there. If it was like Denver by 2.5, I would say bet Denver on the point and give up the points. If it was 3.5, I would say take the Rams. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the way they just play so slow, the Rams. The problem is, can they move the ball at all on Denver, which I find hard to believe that they can. I think they have a better chance in the dome, and Denver doesn't have all of their defense that they had, 3 weeks ago. I don't know, man. It's a little bit of a tricky situation. The one I will take is, I don't care what the Bucs do. All I've said all year long, I don't think there's one game I've said the Bucs will cover. And I think this year they've covered one time.
Is that true?
Yeah, they're like 1-13-1 or something against the spread, because it's just perception. It's sort of like when you can bring the Brady thing. And you know who else is terrible against the spread? The next worst team? The Packers.
Arizona?
No, the Packers.
Okay.
Or there might be one other team that I'm not thinking of, but the Packers are one of the worst three. They just, so you put them on the road in Miami. Why are they 3.5? Like, honestly, this feels way off to me. I feel like this. If you told me it was the Dolphins minus 7.5 or 8, I think that would have been closer to what I thought than the 3.5. The Dolphins, because they had a tough road stretch and still almost beat Buffalo in the freezing cold, and lost a tough one to the Chargers and then lost to San Francisco. These are not those are good football teams. Green Bay is terrible. Aaron Rodgers is now terrible. Of course, he's one of my main stacks today, but he's been terrible. So I, in terms of what I'm looking to do today for DFS, I'm going to be heavy on, the Dolphins are going to be popular. I'll play them. I'll throw some Trent Sherfield in to get a little bit off the board with as a cheap receiver. It worries me a little bit because Cedric Wilson is getting more looks. So I don't know. Maybe I won't do that, but Gesicki, you can go to Gesicki to get a little bit lower ownership. But that is the main game. And then I do like the Brady stack. I also think McSorley with just Hopkins alone is totally fine. And then you just stack up the guys you like in other games. They sort of even out to as if you were playing a regular price quarterback with a medium receiver. So take an excellent receiver with a lousy quarterback. Maybe you could throw Connor into the mix, like a McSorley, Connor, Hopkins with one of Godwin, Evans, or Gage.
You think McSorley can complete a touchdown pass?
What's that?
You think McSorley can complete a touchdown pass?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He completed one to the wrong team this year.
Okay, well, that's something. At least you can throw a spiral, I guess.
Somebody scored a touchdown when he threw the ball. But yeah, so I'm looking at my lineups for football, overweight. I'm going to go way overweight A.J. Dillon instead of Aaron Jones. I do have a lot of Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones will go with Rodgers in my Rodgers stacks, and Dillon will be on the other side where I'm playing Tua. Connor is pretty clearly going to get a decent amount of work, and it's not quite the same Patriots run defense. The Broncos run defense that we've seen from the past. So I'm okay with that. I am getting to some Cam Akers just because of the volume and the price, but it doesn't feel great. But he's been.
Is Ben Skwarnek out?
What is Skwarnek? Yeah.
Yeah, probably the Detective Tutuola is going to look a good play again.
Atwell and Van Jefferson. I think that Van Jefferson is probably the better play. It's a tough match. This is really tough to play against these corners. I don't know if he's a better play. He's a better play considering the ownership, maybe. But Russell Gage is the guy, the cheap. Russell Gage and Atwell are the two cheap guys who I think that you're really looking heavily towards.
Okay.
To me, and then for tight end, you have Dulcich, Higbee, Tunyon. All the tight ends I think are completely viable. And I think going double tight end is another route that's very viable today. And Jeff Wilson, if he's active, which it looks like he's going to be, I think they may have announced that he is active. I think it's a really good pivot off of Mostert. So I'm okay with taking a shot on Jeff Wilson, even though I like Mostert better. I mean, we've seen it trend in both directions since they've been in Miami before. So I think that's actually not a bad idea.
I mean, we're gonna get yeah, I don't know. I like Mostert, but like you said, he's gonna be higher owned.
Yeah. I like Romeo Dobbs at low ownership. And
this Watson seems legit.
Was that
the other guy?
Yeah. I think you play like Watson and Dobbs, and then I have some Watson Lazard, and I have some Lazard and Dobbs. What just happened to my mouse? That's a really bad time.
Awesome.
Yeah. There's the Matt take.
What is it?
Christian Watson is awesome.
Who is?
Christian Watson.
Yeah, I like him.
So
I'm on board with that.
And Lazard sucks.
Don't agree with that.
Yep. There you go.
I agree that fantasy-wise he does. I think he. I mean, yeah, maybe sucks is maybe that's fair to say that he sucks. Actually, to be honest with you,
he's not as bad as Darius Toney or MVS or Valdez Scantling, but he sucks.
Better than Richie James.
And Richie James is real. By the way, Richie James. I don't care whatever fantasy points he got. He's really bad. How many drops did he have, Matt?
At least 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean, it made sense for DFS, but I don't think anybody's screaming that Richie James is any sort of a real receiver.
Yeah. What about Marlon Mack? Green Monster's coming in with Marlon Mack. I mean, he did have that touchdown last week, right?
Did he end up getting there? How did I not win more money? I had them on the showdown, and he was unowned at like 200. No, he didn't have it in the showdown. He had it.
No, he had it when he was like a terrible player.
No, Marlon Mack hasn't had a touchdown.
He hasn't?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking at Malcolm Brown. I always get those guys mixed up. Yeah, I mean, he vultured the touchdown from my guy, which also cost me the $250K, which was one of the many things. But yeah, I think that's sort of reasonable. It's kind of weird. I mean, good touchdown upside. Like considering he scored one in each of the last 2 games, but I think Lat Murray is going to get the majority of the work, but I don't mind that idea as a get weird play. I can get behind it. I don't like it as much. I don't think as I think I can get behind it. Never mind. I think I can get behind that one. Higbee, Dulcich. Okay. I do think Higbee, for what it's worth, is probably the best Rams receiving option. I don't think that's anything special that I'm saying, but
yeah,
probably be acknowledged. All right. Sorry, I'm just editing some stuff here, guys. If there's any questions or thoughts about the NFL, please pop them on in there.
We'll take a couple of questions, and I guess we'll get out of here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to finish build. This is why Sheets. I struggle when I try to finish the building when I'm doing it.
Oh, you should put the game on. Hold on.
Yeah, put the game on.
It's not like soccer because it's like 12 o'clock and it's already like.
It starts at 12:10.
Oh, it is 12:10? Okay.
All right.
Oh, it's starting already.
In 5 minutes.
I do have gauges already. Gauge.
So you need the Mitch rod from
I'm
this
making
game.
my football one right now.
Okay.
You guys are all the worst. Can I have 5 guys in a game for this?
What? Can you have 5 guys in an NFL game? Yeah,
For this?
you could. What, a quarterback, 2 receivers, and then 2 receivers on the other side or something like
Like a
that?
running back on one side.
I think you could do that. 3-game slate? Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is. I actually don't even think that's like like almost recommended on this kind of a slate.
Yeah. Well, Mitch Robbins at the line. Oh, this is always an adventure.
He's my guy.
Let's see. How... Hey!
Was it Embiid who fouled him?
No, but Mitch Robb made a free throw. This is HT, and yet still a terrible picture. Hey, 2 for 2.
It's all coming up Mitch Rob today. No, I'm just kidding.
All
I have
coming
so
up.
much Hartenstein. I just hope he gets in foul trouble at some point.
Hartenstein. There's my dad. Hello. Hey, how are you? Good. What's going on? Yeah. Yeah. We did yesterday already because we had a Hanukkah thing, but we will do it if you like. No problem. Hey, your schedule, not mine. That's an issue. I would come in. I would come into the city. I would come out to Jersey. I would come out to Jersey to have lunch with you.
Dulcich. Sort of like that Jeff Wilson idea a little bit. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, let's see what I can do with this. All right, guys. Sorry if it's pop in questions. I'll try to answer them while Sheets is on the phone. Sorley, Hopkins, Evans, White. Problem is, it's just over. Like you play him with White, I guess, or with Fournette makes more sense.
No, it's good. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So I'm updating the Yahoo lineups, and then we're gonna go over Matthew's build to make sure that it makes sense.
0 fine.
Yeah, you can leave 0 on the table with football.
This is winning. Though.
I mean, in a 3-gamer, you can. And Matt said it's winning, so that's good.
There you go.
All right, let's see what we got. So Yahoo is in. All right, so let's see what we got. We'll go take out one of these. Give you a Brady one. F Brady. McSorley. One of my McSorley lineups you could have. Actually, hold on. Let's do this one. All right, Matt. Who's going to be a quarterback? Rodgers a quarterback. So who's going to be a receiver that you pair with him?
Watson and Tanyan.
Watson and Tunyon. We like that. Watson and
RJ's
Tunyon.
hurt.
RJ Barrett is hurt.
God damn it.
He's down. He might not be hurt. He's down for a few seconds.
Took a blow.
And B took a blow. Nah, Barrett's fine. David Rothman's not happy. Okay. Everybody's fine. All right. And who's your run back? Who are we playing for Miami?
Nobody.
Nobody.
No, I got
Have a run back for Miami?
Cam Akers and Ronald White.
So your running back combo. You're already gonna be different here if you have no Miami players. So we're gonna play Cam Akers and Rashad White. Okay. And who's your defense?
Broncos.
Defense Broncos. That's fine. Who's hold on. Put him over here. And then Akers, and then wide receivers.
Kevin Waddle.
Oh, so what did I ask you?
What?
I said, who are you running back with Miami? You said, I don't have any Miami players.
You said running back.
Oh, no. When I said, running back. No. When I say who you running it back with,
Oh.
that means who you have in Miami,
Oh.
not who the running backs are.
Oh.
Very good. Oh, perfect. Oh, so you're totally stacked up here. So Waddle and Hill.
The other games are going to suck.
And then you got 4,400 left in the flex. Who's it going to be?
JB.
Let's go. I have bad news for everybody. Everybody's playing for second.
There you go.
Everybody's playing for second, leaving 300, right?
But 0.
Who's your defense? Oh, okay. You have Broncos, not Bucks. Yep. Maxing out the salary. Everybody's playing for second. Let's go. All right. I guess I'm going to get going. I guess that's it. Wait, one thing real quick. I just want to see, and this is like really going to be pathetic, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Will you create something entirely new?
God, you know what? God love you people. You guys just had the greatest deal like of all time. There's like 25 people or 30 people in this thing with $2,400 for first.
The problem is it's for the members and then we did it too late, but we'll figure out a way to get it better. But by the way,
Bobby's in first place. There it is.
I'm still going to try to win.
Bobby's you're in first place.
I'm in first place. Great.
Yep. Well, Brunson's got 10 through. No, they just dropped you on a stat correction.
Damn it! Stat correction is getting
Brunson,
me already.
Brunson at 15, and now he's got 9.75. They gave him a stat correction. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. But 11 p.m. tonight, I will be there.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday.
Make sure
Have a good one. Good luck, Matt.
Whoever's there. All right. Good luck, everybody.